Oh ho ho! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Oh ho 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 ho! Oh ho ho ho!
It's the Random Movie Time Holiday Special, starring Shannon, Tommy, Ebu, and special musical guests, Sweaters on Sweaters. The RMT Holiday Special.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Random Movie Time. Ho ho ho! Today we're going to be doing something a little different. Since it's the holiday season, we Tommy and I each chose a Christmas movie or a holiday movie to watch and to discuss. So we'll start with mine. I chose the 2015 film Krampus, directed by Michael Dougherty, starring Adam Scott and Toni Collete. The reason why I chose this was, first of all, I like Adam Scott, and I really fell in love with Severance, the TV show that he's been in recently. I'm looking forward to second season of that for sure. So I thought, and it's billed as a horror comedy, so I thought, well, Adam Scott horror comedy, I bet it'll be really good. And of course, I'm really interested in the Krampus mythos, the whole Krampus guy, the demon, the counterpart to Santa Claus, who come and take children away who've been naughty. So, I mean, I like that. I'm very interested in that sort of thing too. So I thought it would be really good. And of course, I mean, horror comedy is great. You know, like I really like Evil Dead and you know, and Shaun of the Dead. I'm a big fan of too. So I thought it would be really interesting. I gotta say, it was a little. It wasn't horror enough, and it wasn't funny enough for me to be a horror comedy. I thought it was really good. There were a lot of great things about it. The performances were quite good. The kids were so cute, and I really liked the way it was filmed. It was really creepy, and the demons that they put together were really amazing. That Krampus was really impressive. But I found that it could have been either more horror or more comedy. It was not enough of either. What do you think, Tommy? What did you think of the film?
Yeah, I mainly agree with you. It was sort of like watching an extended episode of Goosebumps, you know, so like sort of adolescent range horror, you know, like it never really went fully out there with the scares, and it never really delivered exactly on the humor. Obviously, this movie was trying to copy a little bit of the National Lampoon Christmas Vacation vibe with, you know, the sort of redneck relatives that came to visit at Christmas time, you know. But there was an important message in this movie, which was, you know, sticking with your family, even though you don't always get along. In the end, they all cared enough about each other to at least try and keep each other alive and everything. And they sort of all learned to appreciate each other a bit more. So, you know, it kind of had a nice, heartwarming ending. It was more of a Christmas movie than a horror movie in that way. Just, you know, with a lot of horror elements, obviously. And then they had to do this kind of dumb fake-out sort of Twilight Zone type of ending, which I didn't really think much of. It sort of undermined the rest of the movie.
Oh, you know what? I liked the ending actually.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was really interesting because it is in keeping with the mythos too. If you read up on the mythology of Krampus,
Okay.
it is it agrees with what the mythology says about Krampus. I gotta also say, I loved the Austrian actress who played the grandma. She was so great.
Yeah. Probably the best actor in the movie, really.
Oh yeah, she was fantastic. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but I'll put it down there when I edit the film.
Yeah, she did a very good job.
Yeah. So Tommy, what was your pick?
I picked the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So this is the 2022 special. It just came out. Directed once again by James Gunn, who directed all the other Guardians of the Galaxy movies. This was a little different. It's not really a movie. It's just sort of a special, about 1 hour long. And it's sort of a comedic interlude. Apparently it is canon. The things that happen in this special will be referenced in the third movie that's coming up, which is kind of mind-blowing. But so the idea of this movie is that even though most of the cast are, aliens and they don't really understand Chris Pratt's obsession with Christmas,
I am Groot.
They decide to be nice and get him a Christmas present. So a couple of them go off to Earth and they try to find Kevin Bacon because they know Kevin Bacon is Star-Lord's favorite actor, and they essentially kidnap Kevin Bacon, and it's the real Kevin Bacon sort of. I don't know if you'd call it slumming it in this movie, but anyway, he looks like he's having a good time. And it ends up being, a bit of a musical, definitely a bit of a comedy, as those movies always are. This one probably leans a bit more into the comedy. There isn't any sort of save the world stuff, save the galaxy stuff in this one. But it was pretty fun, I thought that the characters are always good. I think James Gunn is very good at developing these characters. They're unique. They're not just like other Marvel superheroes. It's interesting that he picked kind of an obscure franchise in the Marvel series to make a movie out of. Nobody was really talking about Guardians of the Galaxy for decades until he started making those movies, and it's interesting that some of the best Marvel movies, in my opinion, are actually about a bunch of weird aliens who don't really get along. I think that's a funny idea for a superhero movie. What did you think, Shannon?
Well, I thought it was really funny. I really got a kick out of it. I mean, I've never watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and I didn't get the references in a lot of it. So I think that for somebody who's never seen a Guardians of the Galaxy and who doesn't know the story behind it, that would be a little. There's some things in it that you wouldn't get, and I was really confused sometimes. But it was really funny. I think it was probably one of the best Christmas movies I've ever seen. It was really hilarious. And I love the song they make up at the beginning. They're trying to understand Christmas. These aliens are trying to understand what Christmas is about, and they make up this ridiculous song, and it's so funny. So yeah, I mean, and it's like you say, it's really short, so it's a really, it doesn't drag on and on, which is really great, and I think it's the perfect length. And everybody was really fantastic in it, so yeah, I recommend that one for sure.
All right. So for the first one, how many evil gingerbread men out of 5 would you give it?
Evil gingerbread men. Well, I'll give Krampus 2015 with Adam Scott 3 evil gingerbread men out of 5. because although I don't think it lived up to being a real horror comedy, there are a lot of great elements in it that I loved, like the grandma and the darkness of it, and the costumes and everything. So I mean, it was still entertaining. So I'll give it 3 out of 5. What about you?
I'll give it 2. I thought, as I said, the acting was good. It had kind of a nice message to it, but mostly it didn't impress me. But it had some good parts. So 2 evil gingerbread men out of 5.
All right. Well, what about Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special? How many Kevin Bacons would you give that one?
I'd give it 4. I'll give it 4.5 Kevin Bacons. It wasn't perfect.
Chopping Kevin Bacon in half? That's not very nice.
It's I'm not super into Marvel movies, really. I like them okay, but I'm not super into them. So, but I think everybody who loves Marvel and who loves Guardians of the Galaxy in particular will really like it. So 4.5 Kevin Bacons out of 5 for me. What about you, Shannon?
Yeah, as I say, I found it really funny, really amusing. So I will give it 4 Kevin Bacons out of 5. Mainly because even though I really enjoyed it, and it was really entertaining, and I got a lot of chuckles out of it. I'm not very familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, so the references I didn't get sometimes. And I'm not a big superhero fan either. I'm not really a big Marvel or DC universe fan, but I think this would be pretty good Christmas movie to watch with anybody who has not seen Guardians of the Galaxy, even though there might be things they don't get. 4 out of 5. Right on.
All right. And with that, we're going to turn to our musical guests. Sweaters on sweaters to play us out, boys. Hit it.
All night.